All right, guys, so here is part 2. So we know how to say the pen, but we don't know how to say the pens. We need to be able to make things plural, all right? So here's your next little bit of notes. Again, pause the video when you need to copy those down. Same page, still page 10. So here's our note. To make nouns plural, that means go from pen to pens. There are very simple rules. This is not like English. In English, we add an S or an ES, and I'm sure there are rules about that. But we also have a whole bunch of irregular verbs like goose. We don't say gooses, we say geese. In Spanish, it is much more cut and dry. So these are the rules. If it ends in a vowel, first off, if you don't know what a vowel is, that is A, E, I, O, or U. In Spanish, Y is not going to be a vowel. So if it ends in a vowel, we add S. So the word profesora, that ends in an A, that's a vowel. So to make it into teachers, we are going to add an S. Profesoras. Oh goodness, I'm running out of room here. But hopefully that's clear enough. We added just an S. O-R-A-S. Now if it ends in a consonant, what is a consonant? Anything that is not a vowel. So if it's not A, E, I, O, or U. Then we're going to add ES. So my word here is profesor. That ends in an R, which is not a vowel. It's a consonant. So to make that plural, it is profesores with an ES on the end there. Profesores. My third rule, if it ends in a Z, we do not like Z-E-S in Spanish for some reason. We just don't like it. You'll never see Z-E in Spanish. So anytime that would happen, like here, Z's not a vowel, so we should add ES, but we don't like Z-E, that's a problem. We're gonna change that Z to a C, then add ES. So it is gonna be lapices, but instead of Z-E-S, it will be C-E-S. So lapices. So those are your notes to add there. Now it wouldn't be a language if we didn't have an exception. So we do have one exception for this chapter. There are just a handful of words that don't change. This is like deer. You can have one deer or you can see several deer. We don't say deers. So same thing here. And the exception for us in this chapter is the word sacapuntas. So sacapuntas, to make that plural, this is one pencil sharpener. If we've got several pencil sharpeners, then we do not change it. Not sacapuntases, that's not a word. So to make sacapuntas from the pencil sharpener to the pencil sharpeners, it is still just sacapuntas. Now we've got to go back to how to make how to use your articles and make those agree. So back to our notes from that. Find your chart where it had the definite articles, your words for thee. We have these singular words for thee, el and la. Now we need to add the plural words for thee. So we've got that if our noun is masculine, we should use el. If it's feminine, we should use la. But that's just if it's singular. If we're making our nouns plural, then we need plural nouns. So back over here to our example. Profesora, that's teacher. To say the teacher, it's la profesora. Teachers, we turned it into profesoras. We just added an S. But now that it's plural, it's not going to be la profesoras. We've got to use the plural version. So look at your notes. The feminine plural version of the is going to be las. And then same deal with the rest of these. Profesor, that's teacher, male teacher. If we want to say the teacher, it's going to be el profesor. And then when we turned into teachers, it's profesores. And then look at your notes. How am I going to say the teachers? It's masculine and it's plural. So it should be los profesores. And then with lapis, that's when you got to look at your notes and see if it's el lapis or la lapis. And really, the more that you say those together, el lápiz, el lápiz, el lápiz, el lápiz, la lápiz doesn't sound right anymore. That's how language works when it's your first language. You just use it so often that it just seems right. Mouses doesn't sound right to you. And that's because you've used the word mice, you've heard the word mice often enough. So you really just need to say the article with the word as often as you can. El lápiz, el lápiz, el lápiz. So anyways, it is el lápiz. So then when we turn it into the pencil, we change it to the pencils. We need to make that el plural and turn it into los lápices. All right? So this is the part where you need to go in your ebook, and we are going to skip activity 2, go to activities 3 and 4. On activity 3, you're doing this. You are changing the word from singular to plural, and you're going to change the article from singular to plural. There is one that I feel like I need to help you with. It's the word nación. And on your assignment, it says la nación. So we've got to make that plural. So if you change that to las naciones, you've got it. You've got the idea. So la does become las. Nación ends in a consonant, so you add es, naciones. The problem is, and just trust me on this, we are too early into Spanish class to concern ourselves with this, but when you make that plural, you do not need the vowel, or not the vowel, you don't need the accent anymore. So it's just las naciones, N-A-C-I-O-N-E-S, no accent, all right? So do activity 2. Activity 3 is doing the opposite. So if they give you las naciones, you've got to change las back to the singular, la, change naciones back to the singular, nación. So keep in mind what you do to make things plural. We either added an S, we added an ES, or we changed a Z to a C and added ES. So some of those can be a little bit tricky. If you do them and you miss them, my advice is to look at your vocabulary list. If you spell something like this, it is going to count it wrong. If that's the one you missed, you need to go back and look at your vocab list. It's going to do the same thing if you answer that one with this. Go back and look at your vocab list. All right? If you will do those things, that will have you caught up for the most part from Wednesday.